In January 2014, 2 amending acts were implemented as a response to alcohol-fueled violence. You probably know these collectively as the lockout laws. Before the amendment bill in 2014, performance and image-enhancing drugs like steroids were dealt with under the Poisons and Therapeutic Goods Act of 1966, which means they were treated as a prescription drug, kind of like Ritalin. If you were caught with steroids that weren't prescribed to you, you faced a maximum of 2 years imprisonment. But now, steroids have been reclassified as a narcotic under the Drug Misuse and Trafficking Act of 1985 in the same category as methamphetamines, cocaine and heroin. Now, the punishment for supply and use means you're facing up to 25 years imprisonment. So this information is particularly interesting because less than 3 weeks ago, the ACIC released their annual illicit drug data report. And in the last year, the amount of steroids seized in Australia has gone up 1,700%. The new law clearly hasn't seen a decline in the use of steroids, so what impact has it really had? First, I want to find out why we're seeing this huge increase in the amount of steroids being used in Australia, so I'm going to go talk to an expert. Dr. Richard Yanis has been a doctor for 37 years and in this time has seen many patients who use a form of performance and image enhancing drugs.
It's just gone totally mainstream. It's about looking good and what one's perception of looking good is, and that has changed over the years.
So part of the problem is the shift in what's normal,
yeah.
And men and women just can't keep up with it.
No, so the now knighted Sir Sean Connery, he was a muscled up bloke in those days.
Yeah.
But this is just a normal looking bloke by our modern standards, or perhaps even a little bit weedy.
I started when I was 15. I did use it for about a month, a very light one that a lot of women use, but it was more just for cutting fat. Any sort of hint of the side effects that I got, I just stopped it immediately. No, not at all. Some people obviously may take the wrong kind of dosage, which is why some athletes do die from using those drugs, but I really don't think that they're on that level at all.
Do you think that your patients that use these drugs understand the side effects and the full gravity of what they're taking?
One, people don't know about the side effects because of ignorance. They just don't know and they haven't looked them up. 2, they don't want to believe them. And the next one is they think it's irrelevant for them or it won't happen to them.
I don't see the need for them to be illegal. At the end of the day, these people, they know what they're doing when they take these drugs. They do a lot of research, they know a lot of people in this industry, because people don't go into it not knowing what they're taking. Yeah. Definitely a lot of stigma, and I think there's a lot of judgment. I think anyone who doesn't really understand gym culture, but the bodybuilding industry, they're completely unaware of why people use it. It's not as dangerous as, you know, going out and taking a party drug. Like it really wouldn't kill you.
Users turn to each other for information because they feel alienated from medical experts when steroids are portrayed excessively negatively. With record numbers of users that haven't been slowed down by the 2014 amendments, it's even more important that users can access reasonable medical information about the more legitimate and more insidious side effects.
I see a lot of guys in their 40s whose libido is completely shot and who used to do roids in the old days. You've got infertility problems from that. But worst of all, you've got an increased incidence of liver cancers and stuff like that.
If the severity of the crime isn't enough to deter users, then it might be worth trying to get over the novelty of the trivial side effects and break down the stigma of steroid use.